Okay, step number 10. How do you achieve mega sales and mega growth using joint ventures? Joint ventures are my underlying secret to mega growth in every single one of my businesses. This is my favorite step I love to teach you all. Joint ventures are hands down the single fastest way with the least amount of risk to massively grow your business. But joint ventures, like copywriting, is a skill that you can learn. And when you learn it, it will change your life. How do you go about doing this? Number one, you've got to tap into existing cash streams. Two, you've got to leverage off others' existing infrastructure and resource. Everything you need to build and grow your business is already out there. Businesses have spent years, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, learning mistakes, getting all the answers, getting all the customers, breaking into markets. Everything you need is already out there. You've got to learn to tap into these existing streams. This is how you get mega growth quickly. You don't sit there and try and reinvent the wheel and build the wagon yourself. That's not smart business. Smart business is tapping into all of this stuff very quickly to eliminate your risk, your overheads, and get massive growth. I'm going to give you 3 powerful examples in a sec. And the other great thing about joint ventures is this is how you truly build passive, recurring revenue streams in your business. So let me give you 3 examples. Number 1, in my first business, which you've heard a lot about in this video. But when we were really struggling and we found our niche and we were trying to sell family computers and that, we still did not have buying power. So I knew I was in this red hot niche. I just didn't have enough buying power. We were too little and I didn't have lots of money to go and buy the volume of stock we needed to just start to compete with other competitors who are now coming into this niche. So I was pretty desperate. So what I did was sort of my last resort. I went to the biggest PC manufacturer in South Africa at the time and I sat down with a guy called Norman and we said, how the hell can we do this? I've got this great opportunity. I'm the first one breaking into the home domestic, small little business, home office kind of environment. I've got all the solutions. We're doing really, really well, except I can't compete when people can buy elsewhere. So I did my first joint venture with them. They wanted to get into this market. I had the solution or the shop front to put all their banners up. I'd sell their product exclusively. They gave me prices like I was a big boy in the market, that I could compete. They paid for most of my advertising and they built all my machines and the assembly lines for me. This is making sense. So all the stuff I was trying to do myself now got offloaded. And that business became a national operation overnight. That is the power of joint ventures. That's when I really learned about joint ventures and how to be smart in business, not try to do everything yourself. My second example is when I built my ink distribution business. I was at home in a home office with a laptop. And I came up with that idea of the pictures on ink cartridges, which I mentioned earlier. I have never imported anything in my life. I had no idea how factories in Korea, Philippines, and China worked, which were ultimately I purchased from. And I had no existing relationship with retailers and distributors around the world. So what I did was I used joint ventures to build this business very, very quickly. So the first thing I did was I set up a joint venture with an agent in Hong Kong. And yes, I had to give him a portion of my profits to him, which I had no problem with. I had no risk. I sat at home with a laptop. And within just a few weeks, I had factories set up with samples on their way to me in Korea, Philippines, and China. And then I went to distributors. I started out in New Zealand. They had the warehouses, the sales staff, the marketing staff. They had existing relationship with the big retailers that had been going for 20 years. They went and presented my products and got them into the retail chains. I was doing joint ventures. I sat at home. And once this vehicle was moving, this is how you create passive recurring income. They're doing all the work, all the infrastructure, because the joint ventures were set up correctly. And then I duplicated that model in 5 other countries. So this little business ran from my home office, was running 5 countries around the world, with containers going into warehouses and selling hundreds of retailers around the world. That's joint ventures. That's how to design their business from day one. That's what was valued at $3.5 million in under 3 years. And the final example I want to give you is this exact course, 7-week course I'm explaining to you about now. When this was being presented at the Richard Branson event, after that event I was introduced to a guy who runs the largest veterinary buying group in Australia, 350 members I think it was in his group. He heard about my system, I was introduced. They were looking for a system that could help businesses. They wanted help with the vet businesses because vets are really good with fixing animals, not so good at business. Some of them were, but most of them of course not. And could we take this 7-week program and put it to a vet clinic and turn it around? So we trialed 5 vet clinics over I think 4 or 5 months, and we got exceptional results. So what we did was we then created a joint venture between his company and my company. We put it together and we created a company called the Complete Vet System. And that thing went and transformed the vet clinics around, and we sold that after 14 months to an Australian stock market company for $820,000. Once again, passive income coming in, all this infrastructure. I know nothing about a veterinary industry, a business, but I know business. I know how businesses work and I know how to fix them. So the system went in, it's a joint venture, and boom, there you have. This is mega sales, mega growth using joint ventures. Very powerful, and it's what I love to teach.